Who else is dating over 40? All right, because dating over 40 is different. Welcome back to the Self Care Revolution podcast. Okay, if this is your first time here, make sure that you share this podcast, tell a friend to tell a friend. We meet here every week. This is the weekly reset where we kind of, take a few minutes to check and make sure that we are taking care of the main character in our lives, okay? Because we have to stop putting ourselves in the back burner. But this week we're talking about dating over 40, all right? Because I've been watching a bunch of these different dating reality shows, right? And I'm not gonna lie, this is like these are like my guilty pleasures, okay? I love to watch these dating shows, if for nothing else, just to see the dumbasses that come on to the show, right? Now, you have to think that some of them are just trying to get a moment, right? But some of these people are people who actually um, are not self-aware, and they come on here, and they do and say stuff that people are just like, oh my God, I can't believe you said that, or I can't believe you did that. But it made me start thinking about how dating over 40 is so much different than how it was back in the day. When I was in my 20s, it wasn't nothing to meet somebody new. Oh, let me go, let's go out, let's go do this, let's go do that. But as you get older, all right, things just change. Now, it's not better or worse. It's just kind of different. It just is, it is just different, okay? And if you are not dating over 40, if you're not 40 yet, you are going to find out if you're still single after you're 40. All right. Now, I had, a few long-term relationships. And so I spent a little bit more time single after my last relationship because of that. But some of these dudes, like, I just don't understand what they're thinking. Okay. And some of these women, too, especially when I start watching these dating shows. But dating over 40, it's just a whole different game. All right. It's just a whole different game. And it is confusing. People are set in their ways. People think that they're communicators, but they're really not. People usually take like phone conversations and they kind of replace the actual act of pursuing somebody. They try to replace it with text. And it's just crazy. All right. So I can say that some of the things that are different dating over 40 is you do know yourself better, right? You know exactly what you will and you won't take because you ain't got time. You know what I'm saying? And then you can see through some of the bullshit early because it's like, okay, where are we going with all these good mornings type thing? You know what I mean? But you know yourself better, and the fact that you've been through the experiences that you've had, you can recognize patterns, all right? You know what you need and what you will not fucking take. So it's like you don't have to waste time on some of the stuff that you would have when you were younger, all right? And then let's talk about the red flags, because the red flags hit so different after 40, because it's like, you just have like this limited time for bullshit, all right? When you're younger, you might ignore certain things because when you're younger, you're thinking, oh, this might change, and no. After 40, you're like, if that shit is the way it is now, then we're just going to assume that that's how it's going to be. And I'm going to make my decision off of that, okay? When you're over 40, right? When you're over 40, you see the shit that's a red flag and you just know how to keep it moving. You already know how this is going to play out. When you're younger, you don't really know. You're like, oh, but what if? Oh, but let me. No. 9 times out of 10, it just is what it is. And when it's an older person, they're probably stuck in their ways and they're just like, that is how they're going to be. Okay. So, it's just different. You're not trying to be somebody new when you're dating over 40. You're like accepting your flaws. You're accepting who you are. You're not dating to like fix somebody else or to transform yourself. And yeah, y'all are going to grow together, right? Because two different people are trying to coexist in one relationship. You're going to grow together, but you don't want to you don't even want to think that you need to fix somebody else. If you're dating somebody, all right, you want to look for somebody who fits the life that you already built. I cannot stress that enough. The person should not take away from your life, because oftentimes I'm thinking about, okay, the things that I'm doing now while I'm single, obviously I'm not going to be doing all of these things when I get into a relationship, but at the same time, the person is going to fit right in versus, take away from your lifestyle. Like it should not be like that. It should not be, a big feat. It should be, they should just fit right in, you know what I'm saying, to the life you already built. Like, you're not going to just become this other person. You show up as you are, right? Show up as who you are, and then you expect that person to show up as who they are. But the problem is, people are not comfortable being themselves. Oh my God. It's just ridiculous. I don't know. But to me, protecting my peace matters more. I will be single if it means that I'm not gonna have to deal with certain shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't entertain people who aren't serious. I don't got time for the little, for some reason the little 30-year-olds are all, confident and all of that, but I am not doing that. That's crazy. I'm not pouring into no relationships that don't pour back either. Like, later for that, if you're not putting into, if I listen, I'm gonna go off of your energy. If you're not putting in no energy, then I don't got nothing to go off, and it's nothing to see here. All right, because my energy is my currency. It's valuable. So if you're not gonna treat it like that, then later for you, right? But I wasn't always like that back in the day. It's like, oh my God, you just kind of you don't know what you don't know. Okay. But when I always talk about self-care, what I'm really talking about is self-leadership. Like, and part of that is trusting yourself. Trusting yourself. It comes from building the experience, building it on top of the experiences that you've had, right? And if you're young, you don't have many experiences to build off of. So when you're older, over 40, by 40, you've learned to trust your gut. Okay, you've learned that. You've learned that if some shit feels off, then it probably fucking is. Okay. And you don't need to wait around for proof. Back in the day, I remember I had one girlfriend who used to go through her boyfriend's phone or whatever. And I'm like, why are you even wasting your time trying to break into his phone, going into his phone, when you're not even going to leave? Like, why are you wasting your time? You know what I'm saying? Like, she was like, oh, well, I need proof to do it. And you don't need proof. The proof is the fact that you feel like you got to do that shit. And when you get to be over 40, that shit is ingrained. It ain't nothing but a thing. Okay. But there are challenges. Let's be real about that. There are challenges with dating, period. But dating over 40 definitely is a smaller pool. It's a smaller pool because now you got to think, do you want to date somebody in your age range? How older are you going to go? How much younger are you going to go? Like, what's going to happen, right? And it's funny that we're talking about age right now because I last watched that show on Netflix called Age of Attraction. Now, this show is kind of like Love is Blind, but instead of not being able to see the person, you can't know their age. So it's that with age instead, right? But listen, I don't care what nobody say, age does matter, because especially as you go older, there's certain things that you just don't know when you're younger. You know what I'm saying? And I don't have time. You know what I mean? So that's one of the challenges, is that, the dating pool is smaller. So I guess that's why some of these people end up on these shows when they get older, because it's like, I guess they're, trying to increase the size of their dating pool by going on these shows and meeting people that they would have never met in real life or in their regular life if it weren't for the show. But, another challenge when people are older, when dating after 40, is that people have more baggage, including me. Like, you have more baggage than you would if you were 20 in your 20s or whatever, or even in your 30s. But you also kind of change, you not really even change, but you realize what actually matters. Like, people who are out here talking about, oh, he got to be 6 feet and he got to make this much money. And yeah, those things are nice, but it doesn't mean that just because he's 6 feet, he's going to be a nice guy, or the person that will love you right. Or just because he has this money doesn't mean that he got a good personality and he respects you. Like, those things do not matter. They play a part, but they don't really matter. You know what I'm saying? So when you get older, you start to get more in tune with what actually matters. And for most people, it's companionship and having somebody to do life with, because look at all the crazy shit we're going through. Like, I really, really would like a person to do life with, somebody that we can add to each other's lives. But what I won't be doing is settling for some low effort fucking shit that I'm gonna be doing all the emotional labor in. No, this is crazy. You know what I'm saying? I don't even know why it's like this, but that's a whole nother video. But another thing is that's a challenge is like you know, communication. Like, some people are texters, some people are phone people, some people like online dating. Now, I do not like online dating because I feel like people can, the people who approach you on online dating would never walk up to you in person. Most of them, right? Because I mean, yeah, I was on online dating and I thought, well, hey, it might be somebody like me on here. But the people who approach me on online dating, oh my God, these people will never approach me in person. And then I'm not even trying to be funny, but it's the things that they have in their profile. It's the way that their pictures look. It's just so many things wrong with it that I just had to be like, you know what? Let me just rely on meeting people in person. So, I'm going to talk about that in another video too, because what kind of things do you do when you're trying to date after 40? Like, where do you meet people and stuff like that? So I'm going to talk about that. But the clarity that you get is worth more than any of the bunch of options that you had when you was 25. Just actually understanding and being able to see the manipulation and the bullshit that people try to come at you with, that men try to come at you with. I'm speaking for women as far as, that men try to come at you with, but I'm pretty sure men could say some same things about us or whatever. But oh my goodness, like the show Age of Attraction, they really highlighted the couples who had the largest age gaps, right? Of course, because that's good TV. So honestly, that makes it less of an experiment and more of entertainment, because like what's really happening here? Like, what does a 60-year-old man have in common with a woman in her 20s? That could be your fucking granddaughter. Like, it is what it is. People have their choices and their preferences, but if I'm going to be mentally parenting you, it's not a relationship that I'd like to be in. I don't know, but stranger things have happened. You know what I'm saying? My whole point is dating over 40 is not easy. Dating period isn't easy, but dating over 40 is a whole nother ball game, okay? Shout out to the people who have found their person, the people who are married, because I know a bunch of great married couples. I know a bunch of good men, okay? So a lot of people are like, oh, it's no good men out here, it's no good women. No, I know a bunch of good women and a bunch of good men who are in happy marriages. You know what I'm saying? Happy, successful marriages, I will say. So shout out to them. And that is probably also why I'm still single, because I have great examples of what good men are. So when I get approached by a man who's not doing anything, right? Like, he just thinks that because he exists, then I don't know what's supposed to happen next, right? But, some men think that they're God's gift to women. And it's like, dude, give me something to work with. You know what I'm saying? I really don't get it. It's like, I don't know. Like I said, that's a whole nother video, because I've got so many stories from the people that I did actually connect with on when I was doing online dating. But those stories will probably be funny, because I just meet the most interesting people, whether it's online or offline. But anyway, like I said, it's not easy, but when you're older, you're smarter, you're clearer. You should be more intentional, okay? And that is what really makes all the difference. It's your mindset. Your mindset changes as you get older, and you know what matters most, what to look for, how to see certain things. So while dating over 40 is very challenging, it is also very rewarding, because you actually, the more you know yourself, the better it'll be. So anyway, I just wanted to talk about that, because that is, like I said, that's kind of what's going on in my life right now. I'm dating, and I'm also watching these dating shows.